Hello, Ola.
Hello.
We are
Hello,
back.
Andrew.
It seems only like yesterday, but
Yeah.
it's not yesterday. It was a
Yes.
little while ago. You are well?
Yeah, I'm very well. Yeah, I hope you too.
Good. Yeah, I'm super well, and it's great to be videoing this because for the future, people need to know this is nearly Christmas. It's
Mm.
not quite Christmas Eve here in Australia. We are just 6 hours away from Christmas Eve, so you must be 16 hours away from Christmas Eve there. But we are both in this last Christmas thing. And so that's very special. I really, it's an interesting energy to make this. I really feel like we can be on the money with this. It's great.
Mm.
Um, yeah, very good. You're helping now. That's good. Where's the pirate?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Today he's
almost a
got
Joan.
day
It's
off.
almost,
Day off.
yeah, it's good. Very good. And it's almost a Joan Armatrading song. She had a song called Drop the Pilot, not the pirate,
Oh.
but the pilot. So
Mm.
it's close. So yes, Merry Christmas to everyone. And if, in case there are sensitive people, I think you have to say Happy Holidays, but it's just Merry Christmas. That's all that is. Anyway, good. It's my topic for today, and this topic
Mm.
is a kind of response to my first topic.
Mm.
My first topic, I talked about these kind of two-dimensional ways of working, which is a great way of working, but it's just not the truth. And I like to really balance in my own thinking, always contrasting this the kind of teacherly, analytical, technical way of working when you extract something specific, and it can be a dimension or two dimensions, but never to forget that in the end, what we are doing here is it's simpler. It's actually a human activity. And that means automatically it's got many, many interactive dimensions at any one time. And that means we don't have to be thinking technically all the time. We can, as an artist, choose to work with something specific and technical for a while, but in the end, you want that thing to lead you to a place where you are actually just being yourself or being human. And that's the point of improvising, as a place where you can be a human being. Um, and the technical things are part of the journey towards that, but they are not the most important part. And I think for some people, the technical has become the most important part. But in the end, you want to get yourself to a place where you don't really know what you're doing. And that you don't have to be lost for that to be the case, but you want to get to that place where you're just doing it and not thinking too much about what it is technically or all of that. This is kind of an extension of um, the way Laban broke down the space in his framework.
Mm.
Not just him; other people have thought it's not. I'm sure it wasn't an original idea by him, I don't think. But this one-dimensional space, so a one-dimensional space is like a line through space. It does not exist. It's just an abstract concept. There are no straight lines. All the lines on the Earth are curved actually around. If you make a long straight one, then they curve around the Earth naturally. So they're never actually straight, but we have this imaginary straight line. A two-dimensional space is a space created by two lines crossing each other. So this becomes something called a surface. The outside surface of something, and that's really useful in many ways to think two-dimensionally. When you have three dimensions in the Laban framework, then what you create is volumes. You create spaces, volumes. So it's not a direct shift in the way I'm talking about it, but it's a kind of, for me, an interesting metaphor to go, yep, I can do this. I'm working with one thing, or I'm working between two things, or I'm working, and I've created a space for myself. And I would call that space being human. You
Mm.
know, and that's really what improvisation is for. I know I've said this before. So I thought we could do this with just a little demonstration. If you, I would just get you to work with one thing for not for very long,
Yeah.
and then I'll get you to work between two things, and then I'll let you do whatever you want for a third one. So we'll do three little things.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that's really how I define it as a teacher. You know, that the three-dimensional space, I say, do what you want. You know, be who you are.
I,
Think about it
I,
any way you
be
want. Do
yourself.
whatever you want.
Be
Yeah, be
yourself.
yourself. Yes. Or as if this is an easy thing to do when you think about doing it.
Yeah.
So,
What does it
so
mean? Yeah.
yeah. So I'll give you one thing to focus on. Okay. So
Yeah.
I just want you to focus on one thing, and the thing I will give you is, uh, of course, you are free to move any way you want, but in your moving, I want you really to focus on um, the inside of your left elbow. Okay. And I want you to
Okay.
really put your attention on what's happening on the inside of your left elbow.
Okay.
Not for very long, maybe a minute or two. And only for the pleasure, of course.
Mm.
Don't try and be good, just enjoy yourself.
I won't. I have no chance.
No.
When you close your eyes, this is something what this part of the body see when you bend your hand. Black.
And stop there. Very, very beautiful. How was that for you?
Oh, it was especially I like the moment when I just be there and focus my intention like this point, but don't touch it at the beginning,
Yeah,
especially
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like a secret something when I know I'm working with it.
Yes,
But I
yes,
have
yes,
the point, yeah. But I have this point to be focused
yes,
on, and it was really nice to touch like my neck, but really be
yes,
here.
yes, yes, yes.
This
Yeah,
was
it's
something,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
It's great because you know there is all that I give you a place in your body, and there's the possibility of working with it from a visual perspective. So
Mm,
that's looking at it and going, oh, look what's happening there.
mm,
Um, uh, there's also the possibility that you look away and you imagine
mm,
what is happening there. So there's the imagination, but there's also the sensations that come from that. And to touch it is to really send a big
mm,
trigger to the brain of going, yep, that's what it is. It's not just what it looks like, it's also, there it is. Then the brain knows where it is in a more concrete way. And this is
mm,
great. This is why touch is so incredibly important when you work with
mm,
young children. And now it's almost impossible to work with touch,
mm,
um, because people are so suspicious. But it's incredibly important that you can work with touch with young, because then it's only real when they touch things or when things touch them. The rest is just academic. Good. Okay. So I'll give you two things to work with now. And
Yeah.
when you work with two things, it's like I want you to see what happens in the interaction between these two things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a cheat, really, because I want to see what's created when you work with these two things. So, in a way, you use those two things to create a third thing. So, it's actually working with two things often develops a third thing,
Mm-hmm.
something that's surprising. This is more surprising than working uh, potentially with the inside of the elbow. So the two places now I give you, the two dimensions I want you and work between them. That means you can put all your attention on one and none on the other one, or you can have 50-50 all the time, or you can have 70-30, 80-20, all the other mathematics that you choose anyway, as you want. But we are interested in what's created now, what will create in this interaction between splitting your attention between two things. So the two places are the inside of the left elbow and the inside or the back of the right knee.
Okay.
Okay, so that space behind the knee and the space inside the elbow on opposite sides of the body. So you
Okay.
work at those two just to see what happens. And yeah, if you don't enjoy yourself, it's not my fault.
Oh, it's like a letter A.
And bring that to an end. All of that. It's so beautiful your work at the moment. The attention is, there's such weight in your attention. It's beautiful.
It's it was really nice to. Mm, I saw a lots of lines, but I felt this connection and disconnection between those 2 points. is because they are quite far away, but also they can be
Yeah.
really close. So this is really
Yeah.
nice how to you can work with the length of the space. And I see
Yes.
that what first comes to my mind is this like a
Yes.
line
Yes.
between this point and this point.
Mm.
And yeah, how I make it wider and closer, and how
Yes.
mm, I really like the moment of this connection between this elbow and one hand
Mm.
and the
Yes.
knee.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of disconnected but connected at the same time. And I felt it. I
Yeah.
don't know. This I like this feeling. This was the feeling of calmness that
Yes.
somehow
Yes.
you connect in this, but not in the direct way. So this
Yes.
was nice to
Mm.
feel it. Yeah. And this sensation of this, I think the sensation is today to me the closest.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful to watch you work that way. Very
Huh.
beautiful. Because it feels so rich, and your the clarity of how of where your attention is.
Mm.
Um, it just all the time. It there's a kind of clarity in that, and therefore I like I'm struck by the intelligence. Like I don't know what you are thinking,
Mm.
I don't know how clever you are being, but it just like it just feels that I am watching intelligence being worked because of this clarity. So it's very satisfying to watch that, and
Mm.
and when you turn that into language at the end in the feedback bit, then I have a kind of better idea of what the ideas are. But those ideas aren't what I'm enjoying when I'm watching you move that way. It is just the clarity of your attention. Beautiful to watch. Very
Mm.
beautiful. Good. And just to it's a bit repetitive, but I want to say this thing. Whatever we are working with when we're improvising, I say this a lot when I'm teaching. It has two jobs. One job is to be interesting to be with. So how can I be interested with it? Being interesting is not a quality something has. I could choose any body parts. I'm not a genius who just invented the inside of your elbow and the back of your knee. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's too strong, but it doesn't matter much which body parts they are. Choose any two random parts. Um, yeah, so it's not like there's magic in there, but it's like a focus for your attention, and that focus is to see what it creates always. So I give you a focus, you enjoy the focus, and then great. And depending on your skills, how long can you enjoy that focus? Its next job is to lead you to the next focus.
Mm.
So it's always what am I creating with my focus, and what will be the next focus as a consequence of what I'm creating. So you can see how kind of nuanced, subtle, interactive the whole world is, because everything is clear in the moment, but also leading to you towards the next thing, which is clear or not. So it's a subtle process being human, and this is just what it's like to be alive.
Mm.
If you don't take care of the bus coming towards you, you will get killed. So you have to take care of now, but at the same time, you want to be able to enjoy the next thing that happens, and the next thing that happens, and then the next thing that happens. Great. Okay. So this two-dimensional model for me is very clearly a really good generative model. It's like you play with two things to see what it creates. So it's actually a way of generating material by playing with two things.
Mm-hmm. Andrew,
Now,
could you give the microphone
yes,
wider? Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, it's much better. Yes.
Much better. My
Yeah.
apologies. It's luckily I wasn't saying anything interesting.
No, it was like it was.
What a relief. It would have been terrible if something really good was happening and you couldn't hear me. But it was just that normal old man shit that I talk.
Bumbling,
So it's
bumbling.
mumbling old man stuff. So yeah, relax. It's all right. Relax. So now I want you to do a solo now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just as simple as possible. I want you just to see what you want to do. It's again not very long. We have to stop in 2 minutes or something. So it's just a
Mm-hmm.
minute and a bit, but just for your pleasure, just um, ridiculous instruction. Do what you want
Mm.
and see if you can find something there.
Mm. Wow. If you grab me now, we both be safe.
And time. How was
Uh,
that?
ah, it was totally different.
Yes.
And there
But
is
I
this
kept
moment.
looking. I kept looking at your left elbow and your right knee all the time. I couldn't
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
myself.
This is something what I realized that yeah, if I have some points, it's I'm much relaxed also because
Yeah.
then if there is no if even as a starting point, then very quick ideas comes up. So I need to
Yes.
like hold my horses
Yeah.
to say myself to go back to the sensation, and I think the sensation somehow helps me. Um, yeah, 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 and the experience of previous
Yes.
job and previous what we did previous
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So you know, in this says you're talking here about layering. That the
yeah,
material gets more layered
yeah,
as
yeah,
you go, and therefore automatically it gets more complicated
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's layered. So that you can do the same thing, but it's layered
yeah,
information for you and for the audience. So
yeah.
it gets more complicated. Um, Being human is extremely complicated. So many systems at work, and
Yeah,
that's why teachers simplify them. So we'll take this and look at that one, take that and look at that one, because in the end, everything is everything all the time, and it's
yeah.
really hard to understand what's happening. So it's important, that stuff, but in the end, yeah, it's great. We should finish there.